When people come to this country, they have an obligation. They have an obligation to respect the customs, the laws, and the values that Canadians work so hard to establish. New citizens should not pledge allegiance to the Queen. They should pledge allegiance to those values, and the first of those is tolerance.
We have to listen to everybody who stands out here and rants.
Yeah, I always learn something from them.
Yeah? What did you learn last week from the guy that was eating fire?
He was a busker. What, you thought he was making some sort of political statement?
Oath to tolerance means that you leave your nationalistic, tribal baggage behind.
He's preaching tolerance, but he's really saying go back to where you came from.
No, he's saying this is a country that can liberate you from certain things that existed, like in places where you come from.
Sexism, religious intolerance have no place here.
He's blaming immigrants for those things? Those things have always existed here?
No, I think he's saying we struggle here to eradicate those things. And people that come here shouldn't make it worse than it already is. So if you can't get behind things like intolerance for women and equal opportunity for gays, for example,
you should go back to where you came from.
Exactly. Mr. Ryder, are you okay?
You look like an idiot.
Oh, thank you. Aren't you adorable? My estranged wife dumped some of my old clothes on my front lawn last night. I thought I'd donate them to the Salvation Army, but I ran out of garbage bags.
Right.
So,
don't you have a trial this morning?
yep, sure do.
So you'll be taking some of these things off then?
Well, I thought I might leave on a few of the ties. What? Oh my, I'm just kidding.
I knew that.
Yeah, sure you did.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Why did you scream?
Well, she thinks you're a little, fragile.
Actually, I've been working out a little bit.
She means you're mine.
Oh, well, that. What are you gonna do about that, huh? Good days and bad days. See ya.
Huh? Well, that's it then. If she's throwing his belongings out, his marriage is probably over.
Yeah.
Has he said anything?
No.
Do you think we should find out for sure?
No.
Leave your shit at home! Leave your shit at home!
When I grow up, I'll make things happen. And I know everything will be perfect. And I know I will say all the right things inside. No, I won't hurt anybody. And that's how it will be when I grow up. I'll make things happen.
It would really help your case if you would just give the money back.
She already has the money.
Do you want something?
Yeah, I'll take a water.
2 waters. What do you mean she already has the money?
A paper trail leading to everything that's missing with the exception of my bonus is in a file cabinet in the office. I invested it. And I did quite well for her, actually.
Why didn't you tell me this before?
I thought she would have found it by now. All she has to do is figure out my filing system.
Well, which is different than A to Z?
I broke the alphabet down into 4 quadrants. 2 of 6, 2 of 7, and then I color-coded the letters in reverse.
Don't you do this because it's more efficient?
Oh, I did it to screw her. Look, can I help it if the woman won't deign to open a filing cabinet because her brain is just too large for such a menial activity?
Dear, okay, but if she can't find the money, you're left looking like you stole $28,000.
I invested $19,000 of that and gave myself a bonus based on what was promised me. I figured $3,000 a year was fair, but considering that soul-sucking bitch has no concept of fairness, I didn't bother to tell her. I just took what was owed to me.
Okay, we've got to tell this woman how to find her money. We need to do it before the trial starts.
I want to make her suffer just a little more.
Molly, you're going to be the one doing the suffering here. Let me make a deal.
This is a woman who believes that if you want something in this world, you gotta take it for yourself. I'm just following her ethical example. There's a lesson for her in this. Let's go into the courtroom and see if we can make the world a better place for assistants everywhere.
Okay, if you say so.
That smug piece of shit. Hey, you see that woman beside him? She's a reporter.
We were trying to talk.
Following around like he's Gandhi.
Why?
But why? Why? Are you kidding? Come on, he's another victim of Jewish aggression. Hey, and she's got his exclusive story.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. Fill her head with your bullshit lies.
Oh, that's nice. Hey, asshole. This isn't the desert. You know, we don't spit on the floor in this country.
All right, that is enough. Look, you need to calm down.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We don't want to upset him, right? And we sure don't want to upset the Toronto press.
Planning on going into the courtroom with this attitude?
Tell her how you provoked me. Why don't you tell her how you insulted me and threatened me?
Come here.
Why wasn't he arrested? Oh, no, it's just me, right? The evil Jew. I took away his land, I took away his home. What about my land? My home!
All right, listen to me. I am in no condition to deal with the problems of the Middle East, okay? I just can't do it. I mean, for God's sake, my clothes were thrown on my lawn this morning.
What?
The point is, why don't you let me deal with this like it's a simple assault, and I'll try and keep you from going to jail.
Oh, I don't care if I go to jail. As long as everyone knows all the horrible things that he said to me. I hate him.
Yes, and he hates you, and here goes nothing.
How old are you, ma'am?
I'm 27.
What did she say?
She said she's 27. I don't think she wants to tell you her age, Your Worship.
Why not?
Because it's none of your business.
Stop being so silly. She's 73.
See, this is her husband, Your Worship.
What's a 73-year-old woman doing in custody?
My age has nothing to do with it.
Does she have a record?
This is her first offense. She stole a pen.
She's in jail for stealing a pen.
No. I failed to appear.
She missed her first court appearance.
Shouldn't you have a reminder of that?
I wasn't representing her at the time.
I usually remind Franny about her appointments, but she was so embarrassed about the shoplifting charge, she didn't tell me. I only found out about it when the police came to arrest her.
Which is when he called me.
What are the allegations, Mr. Weeks?
On the initial charge?
Yes, what else? Does this job bore you, Mr. Weeks? Because we seem to be having a hard time keeping your attention.
No, sorry. I was just looking forward to what's coming up ahead.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. We need to keep you in the present tense here, okay?
Yeah. Okay. Charges are theft, under, and assault. Mrs. Sprewell pocketed a $300 pen in the bay, and when confronted by store security, she slapped the guard across the face. The pen was retrieved.
Are you consenting to a surety release?
I'm not sure. I mean, she missed her appearance. No. Yeah, obviously, she's not taking the matter very seriously.
It was a pen.
It was an assault.
Any mental health issues?
None that I'm aware of, Your Worship.
She's fine. She's always been a little absent-minded. I promise this will never happen again.
I forgot.
You forgot to come to court.
Yes, I forgot to come to court, and I forgot that I put that pen in my pocket.
What do you want to do, Mr. Ray?
Moment's indulgence, please. Look, we could ask for a trial date, or if we go to plea court, I could talk to a Crown attorney. You should just have to pay a fine on the shoplifting, but if you plead to assaulting the security guard, I don't know where that leaves us.
I assaulted a security guard?
You don't remember?
Yeah, I do now, yes. Okay, so then I'll just plead guilty to everything.
No. I don't think that's a good idea.
No, sure it is. When I do things, I like to take responsibility. Take me to the plea court. I just want to get this over with.
Yes, ma'am. My sentiments exactly. Escort Mrs. Sprewell to plea court, please, Officer Mark.
All around the world, the frogs are dying. The golden toads, the tiger salamanders.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't think we should talk about the frogs. This isn't about the frogs.
Frogs have very permeable skin, almost translucent.
Your Honor, maybe we could be moving on.
Mr. Sachs? Yeah. Can I help you out?
Do you know anything about frogs?
Don't ask him about the frogs either, because he's not interested in
He will be. When the frogs start dying, it's a really bad sign. Frogs need a perfectly balanced ecological system. Cockroaches, on the other hand, can live a week without their heads.
Oh my God, is that true?
You think I'd make something like that up? Anyone here know anything about cockroaches?
Your Honor, they're talking about insects, and we still have many people back in the cells yet to see.
We try our best to be patient in this court, Miss Menon.
And Patience is my middle name, Your Honor. I just think when the subject turns to headless cockroaches, it might be time to move on.
Do you mind if we hear the allegations, Mr. Sachs?
No, we're good with that.
As long as we can return to the frogs later.
Not the cockroaches.
I have nothing more to say about cockroaches. Except this. A cockroach will probably be doing your job one day.
Go ahead, Miss Menon.
Mr. Willis is charged with criminal harassment. The complainant is a female meteorologist from City TV. After sending her a number of very threatening letters, he proceeded to wait for her every day at the corner of Queen and John and tape lengthy messages to her in Speaker's Corner.
Okay, first of all, Your Honor, there was nothing threatening about the letters and the messages. And the letters they're mostly illegible, and they were, had hieroglyphic symbols on them.
And anatomical drawings of female genitalia.
Female mountain gorilla genitalia.
Yeah, mountain gorilla.
That species has huge reproductive problems.
Whatever. The letters were of a sexual nature and therefore inherently threatening.
Why? How so?
What's the alternative? That they were educational?
Yes. If you care about the future of the planet.
What do you want to do, Mr. Sachs?
Well, actually, I'm just waiting for his wife to arrive. And also, I understand that your social worker, Miss
Kim?
Miss Kim, thank you. That she's actually had some dealings with Mr.
Willis.
Willis, thank you. And so I was going to, what do you think I should do?
I think you should talk to his wife and Miss Kim.
Okay.
Familiarize yourself with your client's background.
Right.
Then come back later.
And what happens then? I'm just not in this courtroom very often, so...
Well, neither am I, but you don't hear me asking a bunch of dumb questions.
I mean, I understand what would happen if we were in bail or plea, but I mean, are we arranging a release or?
Well, that depends on what the doctor thinks after he interviews Mr. Willis.
Is he seeing a doctor?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're seeing a doctor. That's good. Yeah, you're probably used to that, but you know what? Don't talk about frogs to him.
Why not?
Because, doctor...
We usually just let people say what they want, Mr. Sachs. We get a better handle on them that way.
Oh, that makes sense. You just be yourself, then.
The height of 2 dimes, Judge. That's how much the sea level has risen. If it rises that much again, we might have an ice age on our hands. We're just 2 dimes away from chaos.
See you later, Mr. Sachs.
And Your Honor, I am sorry. I wasn't quite on top of it today, but it's sometimes this room.
You're doing fine.
Okay.
Where's he going?
Is everything all right, sir?
I'm hypoglycemic.
Do you need assistance?
Where's he going? Why isn't he staying to help me?
Ms. Robinson here can do that. Do we have any out-of-custody matters on the list?
No. Why are you here, sir? I'm supposed to phone my parole officer to keep in touch. Look, I can't see him in person because I'm hypoglycemic and my back hurts on the bus. Are you listening?
Yep.
Yeah, but I don't have a phone, right? So I wait till after 10 and I use the payphone at the Tim Hortons and I call collect, but nobody ever answers, you know? So now he's going to want to arrest me again for not reporting. So can you help me or not?
I don't know.
It's all right, Mr. Sachs. What do you want us to do, sir?
I came down here so you could see me use the phone in person, right? And then if my parole officer doesn't answer, you could tell him later that I tried, right? And then he won't want to arrest me again, because I can't go back to jail. It aggravates my condition.
Oh, yeah?
Where do you live, sir?
Barry. I took the bus.
You came all the way from Barry just to phone your parole officer?
The phones don't work in Barry.
Well, there's a phone in the hall you can use.
To phone my parole officer? Oh, no. I can't do that now. I'm too nervous.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
No, I'll do it. Well, I think he wants me to. You want me to do it?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, all right then. I'm on top of it.
You actually understand what he's talking about?
Yeah.
You need a quarter?
No. What's his name?
Who?
The parole officer.
Oh, you don't know?
Emily, would you mind telling us what the protest was about?
The American writer David Tranter was giving a talk on campus. He's a neoconservative hate peddler who thinks that his country's values should be forcibly imposed on the world.
But the question was, what was the protest about?
He's a racist colonialist who has no respect for the sovereignty of Palestinians.
So you were there protesting him talking. Now that we've straightened that out, maybe you could just move on to what you actually saw.
Ahmed was trying to engage Mr. Bloom in a discussion about why he wanted to attend the lecture.
Why would Ahmed care why Mr. Bloom wanted to attend the lecture?
Good point.
Be quiet, sir.
Ahmed was explaining to him what kind of man David Tranter is.
A hate-mongering imperialist.
Yes. And out of nowhere, Mr. Bloom lost his temper and attacked Ahmed.
And what exactly did Mr. Bloom do during this vicious attack?
Objection. She didn't say it was vicious.
It was vicious. He punched Ahmed in the face, and Ahmed fell down. Then he began punching him some more, and we couldn't get him off. I thought he was trying to kill him. I thought it was another example of Jewish hatred towards Palestinians.
Objection?
Yeah. Your thoughts aren't all that important to us here. No offense.
So, Mr. Alzanin was just talking to Mr. Bloom in a reasonable manner, and Mr. Bloom hit him.
Yes.
Can you recall some of the reasonable things that Mr. Alzanin was saying?
Ahmed told me later he was just asking him why he supported...
Ahmed told you, so you didn't actually hear anything?
No.
How close to them were you standing?
About 5 feet.
Really? And you couldn't hear anything?
There were a lot of people yelling.
Yeah, I bet there were. I bet it was a mob, wasn't it?
I wouldn't call it a mob.
Why not? Oh, yeah, because they were all your friends, other Palestinian supporters.
Your Honor, her politics are irrelevant.
Unfortunately, I think that her political bias goes to her credibility as a witness. I was hoping to avoid wandering into this morass.
Try a little longer. Mr. Ryder, please.
Your Honor, they were screaming at my client. Nobody said anything reasonable to him. This woman and her friends accosted, insulted, and intimidated him, and all because he wanted to go and hear a speech. Her testimony about what she saw or heard or didn't hear is completely irrelevant.
I usually leave that for the judge to decide.
That's big of you. Anything else for this witness, Mr. Ryder?
No.
Can I say something else?
Definitely not.
Gordon's right about the frogs.
Huh? Yeah, well, that's not the point, though, right?
I'm just saying he's right.
Yeah, well, the thing is, she's a weather girl, so she's probably not a good person to talk to about the global warming.
He had things to explain to her, and that's why I brought the files to show you.
Files, really? Oh, those are nice. But you know what? Could you hang on just for 1 second? I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Hey, how you doing? Are you still talking to your parole officer?
Put me on hold.
Oh, yeah. How long ago was that?
A long time, and my back's starting to hurt me, right?
Oh, yeah?
You know what? I feel like hanging up.
Don't do that. Just hang in there. Hang in, breathe, and I'll be right back, okay? You're doing great. Excuse me, sorry.
Read this one. It's from NASA.
Oh, yeah, NASA, really? Yeah, we've received all your letters, and we do not wish for you to continue any form of correspondence. So this is a desist letter, right?
You have to read between the lines. This one is from Bill Clinton.
Oh, yeah. Due to the president's very hectic schedule, he will not be able to meet with you in person. Yeah. Well, why are you showing me these?
Because they show Gordon's calculations read global warming. It's evidence.
You know what, though, Gloria? It's not really evidence.
It's evidence of Gordon's concern.
Okay.
I thought you wanted to help us.
I do. I am. I'm trying to help you.
Then
I am.
read the letter.
Okay. But Gloria, and I'm still reading. But if this goes to a bail hearing, there's a good possibility that JP is going to ask you whether or not that you could take care of Gordon.
Well, of course
right?
I can take care of him. He's my husband.
Right, and and that's nice. And would you also be able to make sure that he doesn't go near the weather lady?
And why can't he go near the weather lady?
Well, just because they're a little worried that he might try to hurt her, right?
He's not gonna hurt her. Look, here are copies of the letters he sent her.
Copies of, but why would he make copies?
For his memoirs after he's famous. Right. After all, he is going to be the man who saves the world.
Right. Oh, okay. Hey. It's okay. Don't do that. I know.
I know extreme agitation. It's the possibility of imminent destruction. Some people can sense it. He just needs to be comforted.
Yeah. It's okay.
Oh, he's just in my back.
Okay. He's hypoglycemic. Let's everyone breathe. Okay, everyone. Hello? Everyone breathe, okay? We're doing good? Okay, we're doing good.
Basically, I trusted her with my life. She had access to all my bank accounts, financial statements, everything. What's worse, I don't know how long she's been doing this. It's possible she's stolen a lot more than I know about.
Objection. That accusation is completely unfounded.
Or it's just an expression of concern. Go on, Miss Castle.
I feel betrayed. My work is my life. I brought Molly into that life. I mentored her. I helped her grow. I even sought out her opinions on matters beyond her scope.
Beyond my scope?
When did you discover the money was missing?
My accountant found a discrepancy in my bank statements. I was short $28,000.
And what did you do with that information?
I asked Molly what she knew about it.
What did she say?
She didn't say anything. She just looked at me, and then she turned and walked out of the office like I'd offended her or something. So I went after her. And this is the galling part. I actually apologized to her. After that, I got busy and put it out of my mind for a while.
But at some time in the future, you began to suspect Miss Ariano.
Not really. But she kept all my financial records in a filing cabinet behind her desk. I was worried someone else had access to them. So I put in a security camera just to see if anyone else went into her office.
Anyone like?
Cleaners, delivery people, clients. Nobody else ever went in there except her. But I'd also had a camera installed in the office garage by my car. I drive a Mercedes, and the hood ornament had been stolen 3 times in the last 6 months, and I wanted to know who was doing it.
And did the camera catch anyone in the act?
Yes, my loyal assistant. She had quite a little scam going for herself. She'd take the ornament, I'd give her $300 to replace it. She'd put the ornament back on and pocket the money. What a piece of work.
You should see some of the services she bills her clients for.
Miss Ariano.
5 tables at an estate auction for $35 and sold them to a woman as antiques at $1,200 each. She's the piece of work. I'm just the work in progress.
Anyway, I called the police.
Thank you. Nothing further.
You said Ms. Ariano was the only person who had access to your finances. What about your bank manager, your stockbroker, your accountant?
Molly's the only one who had the power to make money disappear.
So what do you mean by that? She was co-signatory on your accounts?
Well, no, but if I wasn't around and Something needed to be signed or someone had to be paid.
She had permission to forge your signature.
Not forge, copy.
Okay, so how do we know that you didn't give your permission for her to copy your signature and withdraw the $28,000?
If she'd had her permission, we wouldn't be here.
I'm using the word permission in the passive sense.
And what exactly do you mean by that, Mr. Ray?
Permission denoted by the absence of concern with regard to the consequences. Your Honor, if I could just...
Go ahead.
Ms. Castle, when you initially hired Miss Ariano, did you promise to pay her a bonus?
Miss Ariano's employment contract is not at issue here.
There are unfulfilled contracts between these two women, Your Honor.
If she'd had a contractual dispute regarding her employment, she could have sued.
Well, she might still do that, but in the meantime, these unfulfilled contracts go to the heart of my client's feeling of entitlement.
These go to the issue of passive permission.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Ms. Castle, when you hired Ms. Ariano, did you promise her a bonus and a yearly review of her salary?
Those things were probably discussed, but there's lots of reasons they didn't come about.
Give me a couple. Actually, just give me one.
Well, maybe I didn't think she'd earned it.
Really?
Sometimes her attitude was pretty lackadaisical, and her initiative wasn't all it could be.
Did you tell her that?
I'm not good with confrontation.
But as far as she knew, you were happy with her work.
I'm never happy with anyone's work, even my own.
Well, leaving that sad admission aside for a moment, isn't it possible that Molly thought, given how lackadaisical you were about her handling the money and that you had this agreement to pay her bonus, that it would be okay to just cut herself a check? Passive permission, Your Honor.
$28,000, that's some bonus.
How much do you earn?
None of your business.
Yeah, really.
Okay, nothing further.
You can't just expect people to forget who they are, their cultures, their traditions, their religions.
We're being infiltrated by hate mongers who are trying to perpetuate their primitive tribal conflicts.
You see, some of those primitive tribal conflicts date back thousands of years and not so easily left behind.
That is bullshit. You know, and if you can't leave your bullshit at the door, then don't bother coming in.
Such anger and hostility. Why does he think this attitude is conducive to healthy debate?
Yeah, and how are we supposed to take someone seriously who keeps playing the same stupid song over and over? What is it anyways?
Land of the Silver Birch.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, my younger brother led it to camp. Land of the silver birch, home of the beaver, where still the mighty moose wanders at will. Boom diddly-ada, boom diddly-ada, boom diddly-ada, boom.
It's a traditional Canadian camp song.
So it's okay for you to keep your traditions, but it's not okay for us FOBs?
FOB?
Fresh off the boat.
Oh. I took a plane. You took a boat?
I took a boat, then a plane.
Look, it doesn't matter how you got here. The point is you're here now, huh?
And we brought a lot of baggage.
We came with almost nothing.
So did we. Oh, what I meant
She meant that part of who she is where she's from.
Yeah, but that's great. You know, just don't bring the bad stuff. Just because you hated someone over there doesn't mean you have to hate them here.
What if a person slaughtered my family over there? If he moves here too, should I just forget about that? It was just a hypothetical question. My family's fine.
Hey, we're still talking to you.
I didn't mean to take that pen. I mean, as soon as I realized that I had it, I put it right back.
I mean, they did find it in your pocket.
Oh. Well, I meant to put it back.
Okay, do you remember slapping the security guard?
I mean, he was talking to me like I was an imbecile. So, I appreciate that it was wrong to hit him, and I'll definitely apologize.
Okay.
Where's my husband?
Well, he just went to get something to eat, but he'll be back by the time you get to plea court.
Okay. I wonder if you could phone him and ask him to bring me a sweater.
Sure. I don't have his number with me. Could you write it down? Mrs. Sprewell, you know, you seem to be in pretty good spirits.
Well, I try to make the most of every day by maintaining a positive attitude.
Yeah, well, it's just that most people in your situation, you know, being arrested and put in jail, you know, they don't really respond very well to that.
No, I'm sure they don't. I mean, I found that most people today don't respond very well to any sort of adversity.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a little hungry, though. Will they be serving lunch?
I could ask them to order you a sandwich.
Oh, thank you. And please, will you remember to call my husband about the sweater?
Brought in this speaker who says inflammatory things like Arabs are inherently violent. They can't be trusted. Don't negotiate with the Arabs.
So why were you there?
All I was trying to do was tell them that they didn't have to...
Is he referring to the Jews?
The people going to the lecture. Jews. Anyone.
Okay, just checking.
If you want, I can instruct him to say Jews every time he means Jews.
If you're going to instruct him on anything, maybe it should be to avoid making speeches.
I just think people should acknowledge that what's going on in Israel is a form of genocide. It's a type of ethnic cleansing.
You see what I mean? Mr. Alzanin, for the duration of your time on that stand, I want you to try very hard to just stick to the facts, because I got to tell you, it's not my job to settle land disputes.
It's a lot more than a land dispute.
Yeah, right. Ask him a relevant question.
With all due respect, the circumstances surrounding the incident are relevant.
Obviously, but I don't need it in a global context. All I want to know is what went on between these two.
I was just trying to explain our position, but all he cared about was his own precious point of view. When I suggested that the Holocaust shouldn't have been used as an excuse to steal Palestinian land.
Mr. K, this would be a very good time for you to make some brownie points with me.
Okay. Mr. Alzanin, so you argued, it got ugly, and then what happened?
He hit me. Just like the Israelis approach everything. Fight first, ask questions later.
Well, you tried.
So, Mr. Bloom's actions were completely unprovoked.
I was just talking to him.
Well, yelling at him.
Passionately expressing my point of view.
And while you were passionately expressing your point of view, did you compare Israel to Nazi Germany?
Mr. Ryder, is there no other way to get to where you want to go?
Believe me, I'm sorry. Did you make that comparison, Mr. Alzanin?
Hitler's goal was to create a world for a single race. The concept of Zionism is based on the same racist idea.
Well, I bet he didn't like hearing that very much.
No, but so what? There's no difference. The Germans killed the Jews, and the Jews are killing the Palestinians. Innocent children are being bombed.
Now, how about the innocent children being blown to bits on buses?
All right, that's enough, all of you. Mr. Ryder, you ask a specific question or I'm going to let him stand down.
All right. Did you tell Mr. Bloom that you were sorry that Hitler didn't finish what he started?
I don't like that one. Try another one.
All right. When you pushed him in the chest and asked, "Where's your yellow star?" what kind of a response were you hoping for?
Objection. Are you saying he was looking for it?
Well, were you, Mr. Alzanin? Maybe you were just trying to demonstrate the savagery of the Jews by provoking one of them into hitting you.
Well, it didn't take much, now did it?
Is that a yes, then?
I was just speaking my mind.
And speaking your mind necessitated making anti-Semitic remarks.
You see? Just because I criticize Israel, I'm automatically labeled an anti-Semite. My grandfather was exiled from Palestine in 1946. They took everything from him. He was left with nothing. Where's my reparation, huh? Where's my right of return?
Is that the kind of anger that you confronted Mr. Bloom with?
He hit me.
Yeah, well, maybe he felt threatened.
Yes, of course. Because we're all terrorists, aren't we?
Yeah, I was wondering when that word was going to pop up.
Whenever I go into an airport, a government building, I see people looking at me, wondering if I have bombs strapped to my chest.
That must be very frustrating for you. Perhaps you just needed somebody to take that frustration out on.
Or else what? I'd have to blow something up?
Wow, nothing further.
I've got something. Where are you from, sir? I mean, what part of the city?
Don Mills and Finch.
And were you born and raised there?
Yes.
What about you, Mr. Bloom? Where were you born and raised?
Thornhill.
Yeah. Anybody see what I'm getting at here?
Just sign my name. No, don't ask, just do it. Why are you asking so many questions? And then she'd berate me in front of her clients if I did something wrong. Why didn't you ask? What's wrong with you? It was a lot like being in an abusive marriage. Actually, no. It was a lot like being a slave.
And why's that?
She would lend me out to her clients and friends if they needed something delivered.
Why didn't you just look for another job?
When? There was no time for anything but the tasks that she gave me, and she had me going to the showrooms and the auctions and picking out the furniture and the colors and everything, and I was actually designing many of her rooms for her.
And was she paying you for this?
No, when I said I felt like a slave, I wasn't being dramatic. She acted like she owned me.
And did you ask for this raise?
I told her that I was taking one, and she just looked at me with that arrogant, distracted, can't-be-bothered expression that I had come to love so much, so I helped myself. Look, I'm such a patsy that if she'd have once said, you know, good job, or what would I do without you, that probably would have been enough.
So, because she seemed ungrateful, you stopped trying to please her and just tried to screw her.
I wanted her to acknowledge that I am an integral part of her company, and without me, she would be less than what she is.
Well, that sounds pretty needy. Maybe you should have just gone to therapy to figure out why you wanted her approval so much.
Your Honor, please?
She stole a large amount of money because her boss wouldn't say good work. Come on. And about this bonus, $28,000? That's over $9,000 a year. You figured you were worth that much,
I only took a $9,000 bonus total.
And what was the rest for?
I only took $9,000.
Well, I don't understand. You're disputing the amount.
Your Honor, perhaps we could focus on why the money was taken rather than how much.
It's in an investment account under her name.
So you didn't steal the money? You just invested it for her?
Mm-hmm. I was always doing thoughtful things like that for her. The documentation is in the office. All she has to do is figure out my filing system, and the money's hers.
And are you willing to tell her how to do that?
Absolutely not. She meant all of it? I thought she was just talking about the 19 in the investment account.
Well, you weren't listening then. All 28,000.
Oh, no way. I'm keeping the bonus. I'd rather go to jail.
Okay, but when you get out, you're still gonna have to pay it back. The judge was trying to make a point.
Yeah,
Maybe...
I get it. I'm petty and vindictive. Maybe she should spend some time working for that bloodless skank. Hey, I was just talking about you.
Sorry, just ignore her.
She always did. You're never gonna get that money back, boss lady. You know why? Because you're too stupid to figure out my system.
Please, your system. I'll throw all the files on the floor. Take me an hour tops to find it.
It? You think it's just one? Oh, it's dozens. 100 in this account, 100 in another. So bring a lunch. You've been outsmarted by a filing clerk.
Who's the one going to jail then?
Who's the one going to jail then? Oh, very witty. Very urbane. I mean, come on, right?
Think about giving the money back, okay?
No, never. No, I'll rot in a jail cell. I'll sell my body on the street, okay? She doesn't get a cent of it. You hear me, Suzanne? Not a cent!
Mr. Willis suffers from a schizoaffective disorder. It's a combination of schizophrenia and a mood disorder. He met his wife, Gloria, at CAMH 5 years ago. They married and had a son in 2000.
A son who was stolen from us.
Glory, be polite.
About a year ago, Gloria became depressed and checked herself into a psychiatric hospital.
A wise and selfless act.
Which prompted CAS to take temporary wardship of their son.
They just borrowed him to see if he was like us or not.
When you borrow something, you're supposed to return it.
Your Honor, I was actually thinking of using his wife as a surety, but it's before I had a chance to kind of speak to her in any detail, and I still think that's going to work now.
Well, why not? They have their own place. I think they do quite well. I can get him to report to me regularly.
Our concern is still the safety of the complainant.
Why is no one ever concerned about us?
Don't yell, Glory. It makes people uncomfortable. I wasn't trying to hurt anybody. I was trying to save everybody.
What do you mean?
He means that the letters and the messages weren't really threatening, Your Honor. They were just, indecipherable instructions regarding weather patterns. He never actually approached this weather girl.
The complainant felt threatened.
Maybe Mr. Willis should explain himself to us.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
Relax, Mr. Sachs. Mr. Willis, why don't you tell us what you want from the meteorologist?
I figured out how to stop global warming. If she tells everybody that the temperature is 2 degrees cooler than it actually is in the summer, and 2 degrees warmer than it actually is in the winter, we'll all use less energy and save the world from destroying itself. The power of suggestion is very strong.
And that's all you wanted to tell her?
I want the world to be around for my son, even if they never give him back. Don't be sad, Glory. I need you to be strong for what lies ahead.
See what I mean? They think the world's going to end. You know, and so they worried about the frogs and they write letters to Nassau. But, I really don't believe that either of them is inherently dangerous.
I concur, Your Honor. Mr. Willis has no history of violence, and I truly believe we have to give people like them every opportunity to function at whatever degree they can in society. They have a home, they cook meals, they have a life.
Ms. Menon?
As long as he stays away from the complainant, and that means no contact of any kind, including drawings of genitalia from any species, then I'm okay with bail.
What about withdrawing the charges?
No, I want a trial on this. It'll give me the opportunity to explain my theories in a public forum.
Good for you, Gordon.
Okay, good for you.
Okay, but in the meantime, you're free to go home, Mr. Willis. You have to stay away from the complainant, and you have to stay in touch with Miss Kim.
Yes, I believe I can.
Okay. Wait with Miss Kim and sign your release.
While I was in jail, I had a new idea, Your Honor. Put a black baby and a white baby in the space shuttle and blast it into orbit. Symbolically and spiritually, that should cure racism. I should tell NASA.
For now, Mr. Willis, why don't you and your wife just concentrate on getting your son back?
Okay. How do we do that?
Miss Kim?
It's a battle, Your Honor. I thought they were doing fine as parents. The CAS didn't agree.
Was the child ever in danger?
No more danger than the rest of us.
All my research is so that my son can have a future. You keep telling that to Children's Aid, and I know one day they'll understand.
Gordon, what a wonderful, intelligent, forgiving man you are.
Where's Mr. Sachs?
I believe he just stepped outside with his soulmate, Your Honor.
There you go. Good.
Something's happening, 'cause I'm feeling strange. Got dark in the song, we were on the same page. I missed what I was going to do, but it still ended up talking to you. Stranger things could happen. Maybe you'll come back, Brooklyn. I decided to go, 'cause my ears were ringing. Turns out I missed all the good singing.
Mr. Alzanin says that he just wanted you to listen to him.
And listen to him spew rage. Accuse me of being a murderer. Blame me for his grandfather losing his land.
And when you tried to go inside to the lecture?
He just stood in my way and kept saying these awful racist things. And then he started poking me in my chest, asking about my Star of David.
You could have turned around.
And leave? Why should I? I'm enrolled at that school. I can hear any lecture I want to hear.
So what did you do?
He told me that the only way I was getting in was through him. So as far as I was concerned, that meant he wanted to fight. So I just hit him hard, and it was over.
If the fight was consensual, why does every person who witnessed it see you as the aggressor?
Because it was his crowd.
Oh, so they all lied to the police.
If you say so.
And you went there that night for the sole purpose of attending the lecture.
Yes.
You weren't looking for trouble, even though you knew Mr. Alzanin and his crowd would be there.
Sorry, when did he say that?
Well, you're not going to tell us that their presence was a surprise to you, are you?
I went to hear the lecture, not to get into a fight.
How about after you heard Mr. Alzanin compare Israel to Nazi Germany? Were you still in a peaceful mood?
Well, my grandfather lived through the Holocaust. I grew up hearing stories about him and his family, my family.
So on behalf of your family and their suffering, you attacked Mr. Alzanin.
I hit him because he was stopping me from doing something I had every right to do.
According to witnesses, you hit him many, many times, sir, and knocked him to the ground where you continued to hit him. You were so intent on hitting him, his friends couldn't pull you off. I suggest at some point it stopped being about going to the lecture. Nothing further.
Okay. So the guy from Don Mills tried to keep the guy from Thornhill from getting into a building. They both said some pretty nasty things about each other's ethnic histories, and the guy from Don Mills pushed the guy from Thornhill. And then the guy from Thornhill, instead of just walking away, overreacted and pummeled the guy from Don Mills pretty severely. Pretty basic stuff when you look at it that way. So I'm just gonna go ahead now and do my job.
Probation, community service, anger management. Plus, I have a criminal record. I get all that, and you know what he gets? More sympathy.
Yeah, but on the upside, at least you don't have to go to jail. And as for your record, you can ask for a pardon and have it expunged after 5 years.
The thing is, I agree that they should have their own land. I do. I just think that Israel has a right to exist, too. Well, someone should ask Ahmed how he feels about that. You follow me in here and do some gloating? No. Let's take a piss.
Mr. Bloom, you're not listening to me.
You're just like the rest of the world. So politically correct. You refuse to acknowledge what Israel is faced with. Surrounded by countries that have no concept of human rights, no freedom of expression, where women are beaten and stoned and homosexuals tortured. And this is somehow a fashionable political cause for the left-wing news media? The core of their ideology is pure fascism. Jihad, my ass. Why don't you get it?
Jihad. Well, there's a word that'll get your attention.
Mrs. Sprewell was shopping at the Bay and asked to look at a $300 Mont Blanc pen. The sales clerk was distracted by another customer, and when she turned back, she noticed the pen was missing and that Mrs. Sprewell was leaving the store. She contacted security, and Mrs. Sprewell was apprehended on Queen Street. And when the security guard attempted to question her, she hit him in the side of the head.
Why is that guy waving at me?
That's your husband.
No, I don't mean Harry. I mean the other one.
Harry, I thought his name was Fred.
Mr. Ray, is your client disputing any of those facts?
No, Your Honor, we were just...
I'm feeling a little chilly. I just wondered if I might have a sweater, please.
I didn't get the message to your husband. He didn't bring it.
Well, then what's that he's waving? What? Who is that other guy?
That's your husband.
No. That's my husband.
Well, what's going on, Mr. Ray?
There seems to be some confusion.
I just need my sweater, please.
Your Honor, can I give her her sweater?
Why do you have her sweater?
Because he's my husband.
Mr. Ray?
I don't know what...
Franny, it's me, Fred. Your Honor, we've been married for 48 years.
What are you talking about? He's my husband, and we're newlyweds.
We sure are. Your Honor, I met her at the Greenwood Community Center 3 months ago, and last week we tied the knot.
Franny, you got married to this man?
Yes, as if it's any of your business.
Yeah, who the hell are you anyway?
I'm her husband, you senile old fool. Franny, I'm your husband.
The hell you are? I've got the pictures of the wedding in my pocket, Your Honor.
Let me see them.
No, Harry, don't show them to him. It's none of his business.
Let me see them.
You leave it
Mr. Sprewell, please, stop. Look, Your Honor, clearly we have some mental health issues here. I mean, she told me she was a little forgetful.
Yeah, well, that might turn out to be understatement of the year.
Yes, but she seems fit enough with regards to the current charges. Maybe we should just proceed.
She has 2 husbands.
So?
She's right, Mr. Ray. We have to resolve the matter at hand somehow, regardless of her marital status. Miss Sprewell, do you know where you are?
Oh, yes, I'm in a courtroom. I'm being charged with theft under failure to appear and assault. And I've agreed to plead to failure to appear and assault. But I had no intent with regard to the theft of the pen, so that should be withdrawn.
No, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, but she has 2 husbands.
Hey, everything okay?
Oh, yeah.
Listen, I've been thinking. I want to give you this, and we're gonna get you on a bus, okay? We're gonna get you back to Barrie, all right? Are you okay? Is it your back, or are you hungry? You want a bite to eat?
No. I gotta call my parole officer.
Oh, no, but I told you I'm gonna do that for you, okay? And I'm gonna stay on the phone even if they put me on hold, okay?
Yeah.
We gotta get you home and check out your back and make sure you're hypo.
Glycemia.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe you should get yourself a little sugary something for the bus ride, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, here. You know what? Just. Oh, you know what the hell?
This
Here.
isn't it?
Thanks, man.
Okay. All right. Hey, you okay?
Yeah, except my client just got off on a conditional discharge when really she should have been seen by a psychiatrist because she has dementia, because she's married to 2 men at the same time. You?
No, I'm not married, but he's pretty, he thinks that there is not a single phone that works in Barrie. I mean, not one phone in all of Barrie. Hey, you okay?
Franny, where are you going?
I'm going home.
But you live with me.
Mr. Sprewell, this isn't the time for
No,
us.
she has to come home with me. She's my wife.
No, I'm married to him. We've been married for 48 years.
Actually, we're newlyweds.
Oh, yeah, right.
No, you are not a newlywed. You have been married for 48 years to me, Franny. We have 3 children and 7 grandchildren. We go to the CNE every August 25th for your birthday. We used to ride the roller coaster at Sunnyside Park. It used to rattle and we thought it might fall down. We were scared, but we used to laugh. Franny! Oh, my God. What am I going to do?
Next week on This is Wonderland, an appearance by award-winning performer Brent Carver
I have to do up my shoes. Do you mind if I do up my shoes?
They are done up.
I got loose shoes. My shoes are loose.
Okay.
Oh, never mind. Just have it your way. I'll just walk with loose shoes.
Where's this caseworker? She couldn't make it today. Yeah, it's all up to me.
I'm Mark Kelly. Stay with us. The National is next.